If there is any other thing that you would like to discuss, we can talk. Any thoughts, anything else? At this point in time, it's open discussion, and we'll be happy to take it. But yeah, Ken?
You've always been a futurist. Look 10 years out and describe the e-commerce landscape in India.
Oh, great. I think you asked me a question which really I enjoy, and I can go on and on forever. But first of all, my feel is that if not in 10 years or 15 years, would there be a concept of state itself? Will this geography become history in real sense of the term, which we talked about, when iridium came up and all those kind of stuff, whole concept of state is getting redundant, and at least e-commerce is making it irrelevant in many ways. So, the US says there are this many visas, but okay, don't allow us to come, we'll do it everything working from India into the US. So I think this whole system of countries or state is going to be less and less relevant as we move forward, simply because, in the name of state, in the name of patriotism, in the name of other kind of, to acquire a landmass, we have killed zillions of people since the start of civilization. But now what do we do? At one point of time, there were monarchs and there were states, and they say, okay, we got these resources and stuff like that. Now you fight war, you acquire a territory, next thing you do is to sell it to privatize it. And your former enemies become shareholders of those companies which own your resources. So it makes no sense. I personally feel that as we move forward, even hold this parliament and the Senate and what you call Congress, all those things also will become less relevant, because what these congressmen do, what members of parliament in India, they are agents. What is the job of technology? To disintermediate, no? They are intermediaries. They say we represent people's wishes, right? You give a power of attorney to bring laws and stuff like that. They are agents. So the job of technology is to disintermediate. So what's likely to happen? From democracy we'll move to netocracy. People will themselves write laws. How will they do it? On a cell phone, you can vote on any issue, you can do what you want to do. With data analytics, you got a million petitions, it will introduce, and 2 million people, automatically it will become legislation. And when you want to enact a law, that's what the parliamentarians and congressmen do. But what is law? First part of every law is definition. That means you provide meanings. Today look at Wikipedia, who provides meanings? There are 100,000 people who write Wikipedia. So people will write their own law and won't need necessarily these intermediaries. And people say that they represent people's wishes, but is it true? If there is a member of parliament, he represents 5 million people, let's say, okay, and 50% of the people want to have gay movement recognized, 50% say no, but he has only one vote, so he'll vote. So he doesn't really represent people's wishes. So the future system is going to be such where if you are given power of attorney, so to say, to him, on an issue that you want to vote for, you can take back to that extent your power of attorney and vote on that issue directly. That will be the true representative democracy. So I personally feel that whether a country like India, okay, you call it India, but really speaking, there will be very little that would be, left for state to really do that. Of course, there will always be some of those things that will keep on coming up, whether it will happen in 10 years, 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, but I think 30 years time we'll see a lot more change. I think e-commerce is going to play a huge role in removing these geographical boundaries, and more laws will be harmonized, they will be developed on a global basis. Because today what has happened with the US? US has become the largest exporter of laws, regulations and policies. Manufacturing has all gone to China. So but laws, if you see, are all being imported, and our laws are digital signature would be somewhat similar. Okay, number of things you see, the US laws are coming to India. Indian thing would spread somewhere else. Okay, India brought in indirect transfer regulations for Vodafone-like cases, and immediately next thing was China is adopting the same rule. Okay. So as I see that we are going to see a very different world, as it's often said that in internet world 3 months makes a year. So 10 years would make how many years? You can see that. So what you did not see in 40, 50 years would be happening in next 10 years. Internet of Things is going to connect everything everywhere, right? And they call it Internet of Everything. So whether you live in Korea or I was attending, we all went, for building our campus. We went to Cisco's Experience Center, and whole thing was managed in the UK. If you left behind a door open, from India they could see and they could close the door, and there are so many new things happening. It doesn't matter where you sit, So I think that's my little take on what you just asked for. Anything else, I think? So I must thank you all so much for being with us, and it's been real pleasure to talk to you and share some of our experiences, thoughts, and the information that we had. Anytime you have anything, feel free to ask. We are just an email away, and we'll be delighted to be interacting with you at any time. With this, I think we will close today's session, and hope next year we'll have a more interesting thing to talk. We'll come back. Please make note of that. Alongside Thai has been a great supporter. In fact, I was the president of Thai Mumbai at one time, and we enjoy a good relationship. Same NASCOM, and it's such a fun to work with them. But that's what all for the time being. We thank all of them and thank you all. Okay, have a good evening. Thank you.